Day 2 of Everyday Applied Behavior Analysis. We often like to talk a lot about stopping behaviors, and what I mean by that is I often hear, I just want to stop overthinking, or I want to stop getting angry, or I really want them to stop shutting down on me. And here's the thing that most people don't realize. Trying to stop a behavior is basically a form of punishment in applied behavior analysis. Whether we're trying to do it to ourselves or to someone we love, it tends to cause more shame than effective resolution. And when we unintentionally punish, people shut down, and we shut down. And we start spiraling down into self-blame, into self-pitying ourselves and victimizing ourselves. So instead of focusing on what we want to stop, in applied behavior analysis, there's a concept called replacement behaviors. I want you to think of replacement behaviors as a way of thinking about what do I want for myself, or what do I want to communicate to this person instead. And often when we work with children, we as the adult have to figure out what is it that they need and how can we teach that skill. So instead of a child screaming or crying, how do we teach them a skill of communicating their needs, whether that's through pointing, through a gesture, or simply using their words. Let me give you an example from my own life. Sometimes me and my husband fight, and historically he would shut down and I felt like he was ignoring me. And often I would tell him, like, you need to stop doing that, or like stop ignoring and shutting down. I need you to respond. But the problem is I'm not telling him exactly what I need for him to respond. He might not know what to say, and therefore he shuts down. Maybe his nervous system is shut down. And what might be more effective as a replacement behavior is me telling him, hey, I would love if you could say, I see how much I've hurt you and I care about how you feel, but I just need a break right now. If I heard that, I would feel honestly a lot better than him simply walking away. When I do this, I'm giving him a very clear roadmap, and I'm helping our marriage actually, and this is going to create connection. This is going to make our relationship so much more better. Now here's the trauma-informed approach, and if you've met behavior analysts, they are not necessarily trauma-informed, so this approach might be different. But often as a trauma-informed approach, I'm looking at what need do I need to teach this individual, whether that's a child, a parent, adult, whoever it is. What behavior am I teaching or swapping out that will meet their specific need? And this is a really key part of this, okay? So pay attention. If a child is throwing a chair, yes, that's not appropriate. But instead of just simply trying to replace the function of throwing a chair and say, here, throw a ball, I'm not just replacing what they're throwing. I'm replacing their need, which might be an overwhelmed, dysregulated fight or flight state. This child is not going to suddenly become calm just because I told them to throw a ball instead of a chair. And so this is why it's important that understanding actions are not enough. Teaching them how to regulate their nervous system, how to read their body cues, how to access safety and presence is a skill we need to build. So here are the top 3 replacement behaviors that I teach from a trauma-informed perspective. Functional communication. Now, functional communication can reach a wide variety of different forms, and it's probably honestly 90% of my goals with individuals and adults. And it's not just using your words, but it could be learning how to set boundaries and saying no, or saying I need space, or stating I'm overwhelmed. The second skill I might teach is recognizing your limits. So everyone is different within their limits and capacity, and you need to be able to gauge that. So often I will have adults rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 5, or just learning how to pause or learning how to read their body cues. And this is a skill that you have to learn. This is truly a prerequisite to learning how to respond versus reacting. The third one is responding to your emotions instead of trying to get rid of them. This is a really common one I see, and often it's because people have the wrong relationship with their emotions. So it might be me teaching them a skill of how to process their anger, or understanding that anger is not their enemy, understanding that emotions are a messenger, and what does that look like in everyday application. So the next time you catch yourself saying the word stop, whether that's to somebody or to yourself, pause, get curious, and maybe reach out to a behavior analyst to teach you what to do instead. quick side note, replacement behaviors are strategies that you can implement yourself every day if you can remember the concept of replacing a behavior. But behavior analysts, when we work with you, we actually go through a full-on assessment. My assessments take a minimum of 2 hours. So a lot of data collection, a lot of analyzing and assessing goes into helping you determine what's suitable for you and what goals are going to meet your needs specifically.